And we are coming at you live from the Film Vomit studio. It's Film Vomit with Mac and DJ. Here's your hosts, Mac and DJ. Hello, welcome to the Film Vomit podcast. My name is Elf Taylor.
And I'm DJ.
Sorry, guys. I was just trying that one out just to see if that would work. And you know what? It made me feel good about myself.
It made me think you're a dork.
But you're not the only person who thinks that thought. So today we're talking about something I am very excited about, and that is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 1989. Written by John Hughes. Not sure the director's
John Hughes
name.
kick right now, man. Love him.
Actually, out of my top 10 Christmas movies, I believe at least 4 of them maybe were John Hughes. It's pretty legit.
One, two.
Yeah.
National Lampoon's.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Right, I forgot that was
At least 3. I don't think any more were. Still, that's pretty impressive.
John Hughes is the man.
Was.
He can still be the man. And respected.
As you can see, I'm rocking my Christmas Vacation t-shirt.
And I'm rocking a Christmas Rocks t-shirt.
Which is kind of like the same thing. So you know what? Let's not mess around at all with this one. I got my half a thing of Hawaiian Punch from the last podcast still ready and kicking.
And I've got something in a Pacers cup as usual. So.
You say something? Do you not know what you're drinking?
I think it's water.
You think it's water?
Hang on.
Oh, survey says
It's water.
It's water in the cup. This could be a thing to start out the podcast too. What is DJ drinking? Because he doesn't even know. It's like we'll find out with you.
I know sometimes. Most of the time I do.
Sometimes. He knows what he's drinking about 50% of the time.
I filled that up like 20 minutes ago. I forgot what it was.
It scares me that you raise a person. I forgot.
Look at that.
Yeah, look at show the people before we get into the plot. Just show him. Go ahead. Fucked up his finger pretty badly. All right, so we're gonna get right on into the plot here. Christmas Vacation, which is my spoiler alert favorite Christmas movie of all time, hands down. There will never be one that rivals this film for me. For me, it won't happen. So what I was taking my notes on the movie before we sat down and watched the movie today. That's how much it's embedded into my brain.
Yeah, I called him out on it. I was like, are you really just writing notes when we ain't even started the movie yet?
And then I stopped writing notes and just waited to watch it. Look, this movie and I are just best friends. So, you know.
So I'm telling you, he'll probably talk more about this movie than I will because he loves this movie.
Which is okay.
I like it. This is the first time I've ever watched it.
It's just okay because sometimes you get really excited and go in on it. Like Home Alone 2, you were really like jumping it. And it's like, and I was like, yes, you have this moment. Now this is my moment.
Have at it, bud. That's all you.
So we start out with this like animated sequence, which is kind of interesting for a comedy film to start out with this random animated opening.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of reminded me because I just watched this last night. Friday After Next Friday After Next kind of momented this, but it did the same thing.
Yeah, it kind of did but I'd like to think they homaged Christmas Vacation.
I meant to be saying.
Because I also watched Friday After Next.
I watched that last night.
About a week ago.
Man, he was like, I want to watch a Christmas movie. I was like, we're watching Friday After Next. She goes, that is not a Christmas movie. It's like, wrong. Wrong.
So it's like Santa trying to deliver presents to the Griswolds. He's in all this peril, like he gets burned in the fireplace and slides a bunch of Christmas lights, gets like electrocuted on a broken Christmas light.
I like when he accidentally kicked the gas up on the fireplace and lit his tush on fire.
Yeah, that's like he's burned by the fireplace. It's a fun sequence, and we get all of our credits, and we go into the plot of the movie. There's a family. There's a plot to here. There is a story. It's a structured story here.
Say so.
Clark is waiting on his Christmas bonus.
Okay.
And he is trying to have a good Christmas get-together.
He is trying to have a good Christmas get-together.
There's a plot here. It's called Christmas Vacation. It's about a Christmas vacation. Am I wrong?
Go anywhere.
Am I wrong, though? Okay.
In a sense.
Don't in a sense me. There's a plot.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just get into it. So there's family driving down. It's the Griswolds. There, Clark and I always forget the mom's name. Hold on,
This is your show, bro. You know it.
Helen.
There
Clark
you
and Helen
go.
are they're singing like Christmas songs, and Rusty and Audrey are in the back, not doing what kids/teenagers would do and not paying attention to what the parents are doing. Which is funny though, because they're singing "Deck the Halls," and he goes, "Take it, Russ," and Russ doesn't do anything. And they go, "La la 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 la." It's pretty great.
So what's the wife's name?
Helen
Helen
Yeah.
with an H.
or Ellen. Was it
Ooh,
Ellen?
you good correction. I was gonna call you out so bad.
See, I just always say Beverly D'Angelo because that's the actress's name.
Yeah.
So I always just see her as such. So his name was Chevy Chase, Clark.
Right.
And there's this truck behind them that's like messing with, like riding up on their ass and then going around them. And
I was really hoping they would pop up throughout the show more.
I don't know. I mean,
That'd have been kind of fun.
it's just like when you're normally getting someone's pissing you off on the road, they don't tend to follow your life. They just, you know what I mean? How often do you see someone who pissed you off on the road? Like again.
It's a movie.
I'm just saying.
How are you gonna dig up a tree with bare hands?
You tried to
and no
pull
saw?
Christmas Vacation logic on me. I'm pulling this.
I'll
logic
go
on you.
logical.
On
Let's
you.
talk the tree. Let's skip straight to the tree.
No, we're not skipping
Okay.
to the tree.
Then we'll get there.
Okay.
I'll get you. I'll go
So
logical on
the
your
truck
ass.
like brake checks them, and he's like,
Swerves
Florence
around him.
Florence go around him, and you're like, would you leave it alone?
And he goes, "Hey kids, look, a deer."
Yeah, he flips him off, but he's like, you want to ride behind someone who does that? I think not. He goes to go around him, and then the guy goes back around him, and there's a semi right behind him that he doesn't know about.
So what's the semi going fast and past them for?
Well, I'm assuming they're going slow, like getting ready to pass, like they're talking, so he's kind of rearing back a little bit. So the semi goes to go around him, and he goes to go around the truck, and he ends up going underneath the semi, like he's in between the wheels.
Fast and Furious style, or I guess just Fast and Furious go
Well,
Christmas Vacation style.
Ellen's like, Clark, because she sees them going under it, and he's just like veering over, and then you just see wheels, and he's like,
He got a little scared.
she's like, Clark, we're underneath the truck. He's like, do you honestly think I don't know that?
You think I planned this?
Yeah, I didn't plan this. And he veers out, and he goes, huh. And they're heading right toward like a
Snowbank.
snowbank. Well, no, there's a piece of machinery,
Oh, one of those. Yeah,
but I don't know what it's called.
one of the tree cutter.
Yeah.
Chopper,
So
chipper.
he
What
goes-
chipper?
Wood chipper. He goes to dodge it, and then was flying off a snowbank, hits the side that says trees, pointing that way, and like careens into the snow and curves, and then
And lands right in pretty much his parking spot.
pretty much, yeah.
Or damn near it.
And they walk out in the middle of nowhere, and Audrey's like, Dad, I can't feel my arms. Dad, I can't feel my legs.
This is a part of the family experience.
He's like, it's all part of the family experience, Audrey. She's like, Dad, I can't feel my hips. And she's like, Clark, Audrey's frozen from the waist down. Like, my God, she freezes fast.
Yeah, she was pretty much frozen to death by the time they got to the tree.
And they walk up on this huge fucking tree.
How long did they walk? Because it was a montage of it walking for quite some time. It felt
Well, I
like,
mean, they're walking into the middle of the woods,
in the middle of nowhere.
the middle of nowhere, not going to a
And
tree line.
let's talk to the tree. Let's talk about the tree. Let's go tree logic. Let's go tree logic, Ben.
No,
Come on,
we're not
let's
going-
do
I'm
it.
trying to discuss the plot here.
Yeah,
They see a big ass tree,
big tree. Yeah,
and he walks up to it, and then they're like looking up. That's how big this tree is. They're
it's
looking
probably
up at
like
it.
Rockefeller style. Like this is a Rockefeller tree.
And he
This
goes,
ain't no house tree.
it's the Griswold family Christmas tree.
My favorite line was Russ's.
Russ, he goes,
He goes,
Dad, that
"That
won't
even
fit in our
front
yard.
yard."
It's not
He
going in our
goes,
yard, Russ. It's going in our living room. He's like, isn't it a beaut, Ellen? She's like, yeah. He's like, how about you, Audrey? He's like, her eyes are frozen.
She's
Shut,
literally
Clark.
frozen.
She'll see it later. She's just like,
Her whole body's frozen.
it's so you can see like she's blue and purple and shit. It's funny as fuck. And then Rusty goes, Dad, you bring a saw?
No saw.
And one of those like dong
No
moments
saw.
happen.
Literally, they do the dong. thing.
Yeah, and so it cuts to the trees on top of the car. And you're like, how did they
Huh,
get?
How did they
it
get
out
that
of there?
tree out, Ben?
And they drive.
How did they get that tree up?
I didn't fuck with you about White Christmas. Don't you
How
fuck
did
with
they
me
get
about
the
this.
We didn't talk about White Christmas.
How do people just magically burst into song and know exactly what they're gonna sing and dance, huh? How does that happen, DJ?
People do it every day. It's called rap, huh?
It's not. No, it's not. I mean, like people don't know all the words.
Yeah,
in
they do.
sync
It's
with
called
each other.
freestyling.
With each other.
It's freestyle.
With each other.
It's freestyle.
Yeah, no, you.
It's
Everyone
a rap
doesn't
group
know.
freestyle.
You don't know what's going on
Yeah,
in
you
someone's
do.
head. It
It's
does
smart.
not work like that.
It's a teleconnection. Now
Fuck
listen.
you.
How
Freestyle
did they
rap
get
is not
the-
telekinesis.
How did they get
Fuck
the
off.
How did they get the tree out then?
They dug it out. He even says later they dug it
What
out.
did they dig it out with?
Hands.
Hands.
Maybe he had a shovel.
So
maybe he had a shovel
they had a shovel. Yeah, where was the shovel at?
in the car.
We saw him walk out there.
Well, maybe it was underneath.
Oh,
the
so
hood.
they had a shovel then.
I mean, it is a movie, but there is logical points to the movie. There's a plot to the film, but there has to be
Understood.
comedy, especially in National Lampoons. If you've seen many National Lampoon movies, especially in the 70s and the 60s, well, like early 70s, we go through the
I
80s.
just want to know how they got the tree out.
Slew of
with their
comedy.
hands in the cold dirt, roots and all.
We'll talk later. I'm just trying to get.
I just like.
I'm trying to get through this because we're low on time here. So yeah, they uproot the tree, they get it home, and so he has to cut this big ass clump of dirt off of it.
Brings
And
out the Jason
Wait,
hockey mask.
But yeah, and that there's a common misconception
It's not.
is that you see this a lot in comedy stuff. Like there'd be a guy in a hockey mask and with a chainsaw. That is not. There's no slasher villain that has a hockey mask and a chainsaw. Like there's Jason with the hockey mask, Leatherface with the chainsaw, but we always see it in pop culture, so it's become its own thing, but it's not really a thing. It's kind of odd thing.
Why is he wearing a hockey mask with a chainsaw? Is that supposed to protect his eyes?
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe he's just trying to be goofy a little bit. He's kind of bad, you know.
That guy, like I mean, he doesn't have like. He's the dad that doesn't have safety glasses. So, what's the next best thing? This
Hockey
mask
mask.
that doesn't actually cover my eyes, but maybe it'll keep sawdust from getting in it.
And then like, so he goes to cut it, and there's these next door neighbors who are kind of like the snooty rich
Margot
couple.
and Todd. They're
Yeah.
probably my favorite part about this whole movie.
Well, they're like, they're the ones that don't have kids, and they're like real dickish because they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, Griswold, where are you gonna put that tree?" And he goes, "Bend over, and I'll show you."
He's like, you can't talk to me like
that.
that.
You got a lot of nerve talking to me like that. I wasn't
I wasn't
talking
talking
to
to
you.
you.
He just looks over to his girlfriend.
That was funny. That's
And then he just puts the mask back on and starts sawing at the tree. And then we cut to inside where it's all like bundled up in the twine and shit, like as it's up.
it's still wrapped up, so it's nice and thin.
And he goes to cut it, and he's like, "I give to you the Griswold family Christmas tree." And he cuts the twine, and it just shoots out everywhere. Like it goes through a window and like knocks over a bunch of shit. And he's like inside of it with like his arm sticking out. He's like, "Really full in here." Yep, really full. Lots of sap. Lots of sap. And we cut to their bedroom where they're like, doing the thing where
Yeah.
they're both reading. Like he's reading a book, he's reading a magazine, and shit's sticking to his hands. He's like trying to pull it away, and he's like, yeah, he's playing, like he's trying to get off his fingers. This is such a funny little nuance thing. Like it's not the kind of comedy they're like, please look at this thing that we're doing. It's really funny. It's a subtle thing. They're letting it happen, and you react to it or you don't.
Yeah.
Like on a first watch, you're not going to get every single thing. You got to watch this a few times to get all the subtle, especially the dialogue. Which is why I'm quoting it, because I just can't help myself. And they're talking about like, I don't know if we're ready to do this whole family thing. And like one of the lines is like, well, my mom calls your mom about waxing her upper lip. He's like, your mom waxes her upper lip? It's like, yeah, she has for years. Doesn't show.
Doesn't show. So was that saying like
she's hot?
No, I think it was saying like she needs to wax it better.
Oh, but it's pretty. It's a nice little like couples back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, well, I just don't want to see you like setting such high expectations that we can never meet them. And he's like, when have I ever done that? She's like, birthdays, graduations, 4th of July. Like she just keeps naming all these things, and he goes to her, and so in a sap hand, he's going to pull it away. So like her hair's strung out, and he goes to turn off the lamp and get him. It's great.
Yeah, it's almost like tar, not sap.
Yeah, but it's funny because
Overly
like
sticky sap.
you can tell like during the scene he's actually having to grab her hair because there's no real thing in his hand, so he has to like kind of grab her hair to pull it, and like I don't know. That's the thing I've always noticed. Like that must have been super uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, and she just goes on.
She just
with the
goes,
ride.
yeah. She acts like nothing is wrong. So kudos Beverly D'Angelo. So then and this is kind of cool because they're all kind of going through the normal Christmassy things. It's dead quiet. Then the doorbell rings, and each time it rings, it gets like lower key, like bad shit's about to happen. Like it starts like ding dong, and it goes ding dong, ding dong.
Kind of like the oh shit, here's the in-laws type.
And then they open the door, and everybody comes in, and there's this rush of like oh, yeah, they took a pint of fluid out of my lower back, and oh, I'm hurting so bad, and I got a bunion on my foot, and I'll pay you a whole quarter if you rub it. I'll give you a quarter too, Audrey. And the people are arguing over parking spaces, and Clark's like, I'll park the car. It's like family get-togethers, especially if it's at your house, can be
More
like
stressful.
this. Like if you're the one hosting the family event, I don't know if you've ever done that. It sucks.
It does. Because you're the one in charge of everything, and I hate
And
that.
90% of the people there you don't really want there, but they're your family, so they're
I
there.
can't say that. I like most of my family.
I like a good majority of my family, but there's always
I
those.
say that because
Of course, DJ's family is top-notch quality. My family might watch this shit too. Mm.
I love Ben's family.
The Macintosh Thurlman family is quite wonderful. I don't know what we would do without them.
Die. We'd all die. It's a sad, sad world.
We don't. This whole world relies on
Whole
my
world
family's
relies on your
coexisting.
family.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry, world. I really hope nobody sees that.
We are joking. Nothing we say on this is serious. Just so you
This is all opinions here. This is all just funny opinions.
know. No, fact of the matter is, I was going to say a fact, but I don't have one. Boondock Saints is a great movie. There, fact.
Damn Sharks is not.
Fact.
Fact.
I haven't seen it, but the name sounds
Fact.
so
You could save 10% or more by switching to
Geico.
Geico.
Save 10% or more on your car insurance.
They are not sponsoring this podcast.
Neither is Hawaiian Punch.
Neither is Hawaiian Punch either, or Pacers.
What? Nope, Cheetos isn't either. Sorry.
It's fun. The screen just instinctively blurred the logo. They're like, fuck no, you don't have the rights to that.
Nice try.
You thought you were going to get the rights. Anyway, back to the movie that we
Yeah,
were
we should
talking
do
about.
that.
So, yeah, they do that whole thing. And Clark's like, yeah, I'm going to go outside. And I'm going to
You're gonna go out for
the whole season.
For the whole season.
Which, understandably.
Shoot myself.
And then we meet, we cut to Clark's office. And we meet his we learn he was in charge of having this cereal additive, which keeps the milk from sogging up the cereal. But I like to get the cereal a little salt.
I get it a little bit.
Because if it's so crunchy, it hurts my mouth.
I like the crunchy.
I'm sure you do. See, I don't like to work as much. I like things to just take care of themselves. for once.
I work with him. He's not lying.
Keyword is I work. Anyway, his boss comes up, is like, yeah, I'm gonna need this like a little description of what your product is so I can bring it up in the meeting. And he's like, oh yeah, we appreciate you sending our family that Christmas card. He kind of looks at the guy next to him. He's
Christmas
like,
card.
Corporate card, sir. He's like, oh, make sure you have that on my desk by the end of the day. He's like, thank you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Kiss my ass. Kiss your ass. Kiss his ass. Happy Hanukkah. Like, because there's a Jewish guy at the end. He's like, Happy Hanukkah.
How do you know he's Jewish?
He had like the Jewish businessman look where he was like kind of balding, bad stuff on the sides, and the big ass glasses.
That's very racist. Stereotypical, nonetheless.
But it's probably the joke that they're going for. So
This is,
according to
it's according to the movie.
the
and this is
script
the-
given. This is what they're trying to do. And then he's basically revealing that he's planning on using his Christmas bonus to get a pool, which that's fucking awesome. Like I had a pool growing up in
I didn't.
my aunt's backyard.
I had the apartment's pool, which I got beat up at quite a few times. 'Cause I
Oh.
was small, little kid. So
Well, that sucks.
great times. I got drowned in the hot tub. That was fun.
Well, at least you're still here to tell the tale.
Yeah. And I got beat up over Mountain Dew.
And then we cut to the mall where Clark is looking at like this kiosk of like underwear.
I don't
Like
even know
women's
what
underwear?
the kiosk was.
It's like in the middle.
Was it? Like it was really
It's like
a
dead
kiosk of
center.
underwear? I just thought it was perfume and then she just happened to have underwear.
It seemed like just a women's stand. And this woman, that he encounters,
I don't know
she
who
is
she is, but I guarantee you she was a
gorgeous.
supermodel.
I'm pretty sure she was a model. Because I know the one girl in the pool scene was a model.
I think that was the same girl.
Is it?
I
Okay, well
think.
then
I
yes,
don't
she is
know.
a model. Because this girl was gorgeous.
Mhm.
And so she's like, "Can I show you something?" Like she has such weird wordings for how to ask for customer service.
Yeah.
She's like, "Can I show you something?" And he just kind of looks up and his eyes get real big. He's like, "What? Who? What happened? Oh, it's really hot out here."
She was a model.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He goes, "Oh, it's so hot out here." She's like, "Probably because you still have your coat on." He's like, "Oh,
What? How'd that
how
happen?
did that happen?" It's because it's cold outside. Oh, it is a bit nipply outside. Well, I mean, nippy.
Nipply.
What did I say?
What
Nipple?
the-
Well, it's warm in here because the stores couldn't be more hotter than they really are.
Hooter.
Like he just keeps like I've been in that situation where
Digging
you're just
himself a
so
hole.
you just keep saying something which is worse, but you can't stop saying something.
Yeah, you can watch that Hooter.
Yeah. See, no, I would try to explain and
Sorry, I didn't mean to say Hooter. I meant to say hotter. But you got nice Hooters.
hotter.
Hotters.
So you have nice hoddle.
Hottles.
Like see,
Hotties. You got nice hotties.
yeah, see,
Titties. Titties.
hole would be dug
Holes.
more. And
I
like
like holes.
she goes, "Can I take something
Digging up
out for
them
you?"
holes.
He goes, "I'm just looking for something for my wife. God rest her soul." Oh
Is
my
she
God, I'm
dead?
so sorry. Oh no, she's not dead. She's just we're getting a divorce, and since she doesn't wear any underwear, obviously, I figure we'd get some adultery. What? What? I didn't mean to say that. Like, just keeps reiterating this. And Russ, his son, just sees him from across the store. It's kind of like, oh, jeez.
Busted.
He goes up there, and she's like pulling up her. She's like, "See, you can't even see the lines."
Talking about her underwear,
Yeah.
falling, whatever. It's really high, so you can't see the lines.
Because back then they used to do the high waisted stuff,
Yeah.
and it was really cute. And he goes, "You can't even see the lines, can you, Russ?" He goes, "Nope." And he goes, and then it cuts to back at the house.
That was funny. I like that scene.
Because also, my dad would have those moments with me where like a girl would kind of like talk to him a little bit, and you kind of talk to her a little bit, and then you turn and see me and be like, "Let's go, let's get out of here. You want a toy first? I feel like you want a toy."
Feel like you need a toy right now. Yeah, that's a good toy. Talk about this toy for the next 48 to 94 hours.
For the
96
next
hours.
10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
Like, and even though it's just like harmless, like talking,
Right.
it'd still be like, "Oh shit, like, my son has seen this." So like, I've been on the Rusty end of that. I'm not a father yet, so I haven't been on the Clark end of it. But, it's quite fun. Even I always found my dad laughed really hard at that scene all the time. So he's hanging up all these lights, and he's like, "Hey, Rusty, why don't you untangle this knot?" And it's this
It's a
big
ball.
ball
Just
of
a
like
ball of
tangled
lights.
lights, and he's just like, he puts it down because
He's like, why don't
how the hell are you gonna do that? You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. That's
take
done.
forever,
That's
dude.
done. You get new lights. You don't do those lights. So I get Rusty's side there. And he's like using a staple gun. First, he's like going up the ladder, and the ladder falls down.
Yeah.
And he like looks around, and he goes back up.
Nobody saw. Good.
And he's stapling the lights to like around the gutter, and he staples his sweatshirt.
Shirt.
Well, it's like a flannel shirt. He staples the sleeve to it, He goes to pull away and he's stuck to it. And instead of just like taking the staple out, he's like pulling back and his sleeve rips off and the ladder falls back. He kicks himself off the tree and the ladder hits the house and he flips around it. And he does this like it's like a subtle thing, but like his hands like here and like the rungs right here to the ladder, and he's like trying to like grab the ladder. So like goes in, goes out, goes in, goes out, goes in. I just thought it was so funny because he's so panicked that he can't just grab it. He's just like dancing around it. Eh. I love bullshit like that.
Yeah, you do.
We cut inside. Audrey's like, I don't want to sleep with Russ because all the family's taking up like their rooms.
She's like, would it be inappropriate or what? What's the word she says?
Well, she's like, I have nightmares about what he does in there when I'm not sleeping right next to him. And then Ellen's like, well, I have to sleep with your father or I'm making sacrifices. Like, it's a little joke, but
subtle burn.
But Audrey's like, of course, no older sister wants to like share
Sleep
a
in the
room
same
with
bed
our
with
younger
her
brother. Like, I understand that.
I do too.
I never experienced that
I
really,
did.
but
You don't want to. You don't want to sleep with the older sister either.
when I was like super young, but like we had our own rooms for a while, and then she moved out. Like she only lived with us like grand total for like 2 years. So
I forget how far apart you are.
well, she lived with her mom, not my dad. So like I was pretty much the only kid in the house like my whole life. Pretty nice.
Yeah, that's about how I was after I was 8.
So we cut back to Clark. Clark's on the roof and Rusty's getting all like running around, getting all the shit. And then he like just gives up and goes inside because his dad's not paying attention. And he's like, again, just stapling shit to the roof. And he like slips and he falls down. And he's like hanging on the gutter. And he's like, oh, thank God. And he goes to like inch over and the gutter like pulls away from the house and an icicle shoots across through the neighbor's window, the snooty neighbors from earlier, and like blows up their stereo. And he then falls into a bush. And then Ellen comes out and she's hollering up, thinking he's still up. She's like, it's time for dinner. And like from over here, he's like, great, I'm starving. She's like,
where'd you come from?
She doesn't see him because he's in the bush. So she kind of looks over. Then she starts to walk in and he's like, ah! And she's like, because he's shaking it off. Again, it's like her look is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like there's this,
she looks at him like
the
that
actors
a
and
lot.
actresses in this, they know facial expressions. Then we cut back to the neighbors who come home to find their window broken. He's like, well, something had to break the window. Something had to hit the stereo. She walks over there. She's like, why is the carpet all wet, Todd? He's like, I don't know, Margot. It's just, that's my favorite lines, I think, for this movie, just because it's so like shitty, but like really funny. I don't know. That's half of my review of this movie is me just fanboying over it because it's so smartly written, so witty
and sarcastic,
dripping with wit, and that's my humor. So it's like I'm all in for it. So he's like, yeah, everybody come outside. Let's see all these lights I took like all day
I like this part.
hanging up these lights. And he goes to plug them in and like they don't turn on. Like first he gets everybody's like drum roll and they're like brrr, and he's like joy to the world. Nothing. And he's like, I don't understand it. And his dad's like, well, it's all right. He's got to go check every single bulb. And he's like, I did that. He's like, well, if you need me, I'll be upstairs asleep. And like some of the relatives are bagging on him for it. And everyone else was trying to be kind of supportive and not make him feel bad if they wasted all this time. So he's like, well, Russ, maybe we should go up there and check him. He's like, geez, look at the time. I got to feed the hog. I got to finish that homework. I got to wash the car, pay those bills. like, well played, Russ. Because you can imagine staying out all night checking thousands of lights. It's like what everybody is asleep.
No.
He's out there just checking like light
all night.
Because there's a lot of little tiny lights around his whole house.
He said the number.
So many thousands.
Yeah.
That's a lot of lights.
Period.
How do you check them? Do you see if they're like plugged in or?
Like you you rattle it, and if it rattles, and it's
No, I wouldn't even know
any
that.
light, like those lights,
Uh-huh.
if you rattle
It
it,
rattles?
it's dead.
It's dead.
Burnout, I think. If it doesn't make a noise, it's good. And if it makes a little rattle, it's burnout.
So he's just going around.
I mean, that's my assumption. I don't know.
That would still take forever.
Oh yeah. hands down.
Whew. Like, man, that would suck. So yeah, he checks every single bulb. Hey, and then the neighbors, they're like starting to get like they got like a dinner and they're getting a little romantic and kissy on each other and shit. Oh, I forgot to point out there's a scene where he goes to the attic to hide presents. So he
Yeah.
and he pulls the thing down and the attic stairs hit him in the face and he falls down and he goes up in the
There's
attic.
a lot of that physical.
Yeah, there's a lot of
humor.
slapstick in here. But it's like mixed in with wit, which is pretty great to me.
I liked it.
So like he puts away some presents and
Finds a present from like Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
looks like
it
it's
was
been
Mother's
set up-
Day.
Mother's Day. Looks like it's been up there more than.
so this is 89. That was dated 84. I was like 5 years old. He just forgot it was up there. And basically his mother-in-law shuts the door he came in it. And she's like, oh, it's so cold. And she closes that door so he can't get down. So he's stuck and they all leave to go Christmas shopping and he's just stuck up in the attic. And he's like walking around like these boards hit him in the head when he's like stepping on them. He finds this projector of like old movies from his kid, from his childhood. So he's like, well, I'll go through and walk down memory lane. He's like, he's wrapped up in all these old clothes.
All the clothes that are up there from who knows.
And he's got tears coming down his eyes. He's watching it. And then they get home and they go to open the attic. And he just him and the projector just fall straight through.
Projector probably broke.
Oh,
Made
yeah.
him cry even more.
Which was probably like a $1,200 projector.
Yeah.
More, maybe. I don't even know how much projectors cost back then.
Probably not 1,200. Probably.
But if it's 1,200, that's for inflation.
Yeah.
So still, that was making a lot of money. So yeah, they come back and they start kind of getting a little freaky. And Clark's outside. He's like, I just don't understand why these lights aren't working.
Can't figure it out worth the life of them.
And his mom goes into the garage to get something. She flips on the light switch, and that's what.
Like he's back in the back or something, and he's plugging in, trying to check all the outlets and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, the lights come on. He's like, I fixed it. And it's only because she flipped the switch. That's what all these plugs were into. And you got to turn the switch on to have it run the power. So the house lights up like bright as shit. And the neighbors are like blinded by it. And like, oh my God. And they're stumbling around. And he's like, I did it. Everyone come outside and see this. And they all come outside. And the mom flips off the light switch because she's leaving. And the lights go out. And he's like, I don't understand it. What happened? And he's like,
he gets angry. He's
funny. Like throwing the lights, but when the lights turn off, they're like falling across the street. They're like falling down the stairs and like throwing because they're getting blind and they can't see. And so like they got food and drinks flying everywhere. And he's like kicking the cords, and he goes up to the stand and he like punches it, kicks it, and he's like knocking all the antlers off the reindeer. And he grabs the cord. And he gets mad. And by this time, Ellen had walked around because she's like, She walks around to the garage and she flips the switch just as he was
turning it on,
pulling the cords together. He's like, ah! And boom, it comes on. And the whole family's like, oh my gosh, look at all these lights. And he's
so bright.
And then he goes up to his stepdad and he's like, isn't it a wonderful, Art? He's like, those little lights aren't twinkling. He's like, thank you for noticing, Art. And like he's going up to everybody and he's like hugging them and kissing them.
I like the nuclear plant thing. Or
yeah, we're like he hits the backup reactor.
Turn on the backup reactor
because of all the juice being drained.
Shows his meter and it's turning.
Yeah, and we get this scene where Clark goes up to. We don't see who it is. We're like behind them. He puts his arm around him. He's like, isn't it wonderful, Eddie? He's like, it's a beaut, Clark. He's like, Eddie? And he's like, well, how you doing there, Clark? He's like, Eddie? Like, he just keeps saying that over and over again. He's like, I hope you didn't do this on our account, Clark. He's like, kids, come out here and see what Uncle Clark did to the house. And like, there's this old, like, rundown
Jank-ass
fucking RV. And this dog comes running out, and he's two like really roughneck looking kids. And then he's like, in case you don't remember that this here's Rocky and Ruby Sue. And his stepdad goes up to him. He's like, you got a kiss for me? He's like, I wouldn't do that there, Art. He's got a lip fungus. They ain't identified yet. And he's like, ooh. And they go like, oh, Ruby Sue. And they're like, oh my God, her eyes aren't crossed anymore. He's like, yeah, ain't that the darndest thing? Falls down the well, eyes go cross. Gets kicked by a mule, they go back straight again. I don't know. Like, he's such a piece of shit. And I love it.
He's a terrible human being.
But I love to watch it.
Yeah. Not as bad as Frank.
And he's like, are you surprised, Clark? And he's like, Eddie, I wouldn't be more surprised if I woke up in the morning with my head sewn to the carpet. Because Clark hates Eddie. Like, it's pretty clear because he fucks things up and he doesn't like having him around, especially with this big Christmas he's trying to have.
Right.
And then we cut to inside where Eddie's like drinking eggnog, and his dog's name's Snots because he has this sinus problem, so he's constantly covered in snot.
Yeah.
And the dog's drinking out of the tree bowl, and he's like, "Stop that, Snots!" He's like, "Oh, it's okay." Right. The other day, he drank a quart of Pennzoil when he hiked his leg the next day. Woo! He's like, "No, it's the tree, Eddie. If you drink the water, it'll dry out." And he's like, "Snots, get on in the kitchen and get you something to eat." The dog runs in the kitchen.
That dog's wild, dude. He's gonna go everywhere he wants. He don't mess with no Rottweiler.
He's like, yeah, he's got a little bit of Mississippi leg hound in him. You don't want that dog to catch you with the short shorts, if you know what I'm saying. If he does latch on to you, it's best just let him finish. Like, what?
Who does that?
Just lets the dog finish. And then he goes up, it's like this little like wooden like windmill thing. And he just touches it and it like breaks.
Well, he tries to spin it and he spins it way too hard and it just all falls apart. And he just keeps on going.
Drinking his eggnog out of his moose glass. And he's like, so what's up with the RV out there? He's like, yeah. He's like, I borrowed off a friend of mine. He took my house. I took the RV. Don't you go getting too attached to it though. We're taking it with us when we leave next month. And Clark's like, you're like, next month? What? Because he's not employed,
right?
So he doesn't have anywhere to be, like where everybody else is on vacation,
right?
So we cut back to like Clark's work, and he hasn't gotten his bonus yet, and he's like really freaking out about it.
He's very freaking out because he had the $7,500 down payment
on that pool, and if he doesn't get
his bonus,
money, check's not going to clear, and then you're all fucked. But it's like something he's worked here for. I think he says like
17 years.
16, 17 years. So it's like every year he's gotten a bonus. So this is pretty much like guaranteed. Cut and dry. Like he counts on this as part of his salary.
Right.
He has no reason not to after 17 years. You know, it's almost 2 decades. And we cut to that night, and Clark's like looking out the window, and he's like fantasizing about the pool. And so first he sees like the family
swimming around,
and then Eddie,
family thing.
And he's like swinging a towel,
like a wife beater, and
a banana boat,
a banana hammock.
Yeah, it's like yellow and
weird,
black.
It's a leopard print.
Yeah, and he's like swinging the towel, and he throws it in the pool, and then he's like waving at him, and he's like, "Ooh." And then it kind of switches, and it's that girl from the store.
Assumingly,
we're just gonna say
100%.
Looks
it's
very
more
close.
likely her.
And she's like looking at him, and he's like. And she's like starts taking her top down. And he's like, she takes it off and she throws it at the window. And she jumps in the pool and she's coming up. And it's like the camera's just about to hit Titty.
Just close.
The Ruby Sue comes in. She's like, Santa Claus? And Clark turns around.
Does he look like Santa Claus?
Well, he has like a red robe on, and these are dumb kids.
Goes, are you Santa Claus?
Dumb kids. He's like, Uncle Clark, are you Santa Claus? And he's like, no. And she basically. Because she's explaining to him that Eddie says that Santa's not coming this year. And she's like, I don't understand it. She's like, we were good all year, and yeah, we're not getting shit.
shit bricks or something like that.
He's like, "How's your brother doing about it?" And he's like, he's shitting bricks." He's like, "You shouldn't say that word." She's like, "Sorry, shit rocks." I'm like, God damn it. But Clark feels bad. He's really mad at Eddie for not doing something for his kids, you know. And so he tells Ellen, he's like, we got to do something about that. And he looks outside, and Eddie's draining the sewage from the RV into the sewer.
Merry Christmas. The shitter's full.
He's like, shitter's full. And he's like, well, you should know that's illegal. It could cause an explosion if the gases are ignited. Yeah. And then, like, the guy from across the street comes out of his house, like, to jog.
It's like he smelt it.
And he, like, looks, and he's just pouring shit down this thing. And he's in his underwear.
His robe.
In a robe, and, like, this, like, Davy Crockett hat. He's like, Merry Christmas. He's smoking a cigar. Merry Christmas. Shitter was full. And he, like, turns around, he runs inside the house.
Nope. I ain't doing this today.
It's just great. And then we get the sledding scene. So they all go sledding, and Clark sprays the stuff on his sled.
I've not seen the metal sleds like that.
Yeah, it's like it's some old school shit.
Yeah,
and he sprays it with this adhesive from his work, and he slides down the hill because Eddie says he's got a metal plate in his head, but he got switched with a plastic plate because he was like, or some sort of thing. War. And he's like, every time Catherine turned on the microwave, I'd piss my pants and forget who I was for half an hour. He's like, so they plays with a plastic piece. He's like, but it's a lot weaker. And he's like, and my hair part's right here. So if this gets dented, my hair just ain't gonna look right. So Clark goes and slides down and just shoots all the way down the hill.
Through about 30 different snowbanks.
Through an outhouse. Through like across the highway.
Down the highway.
Across into a Walmart parking lot. And then hits the Salvation Army donation box, and then it cuts to them later, and they go to Walmart together because he's like, I'll pick up the kids' gifts. He's like, oh, Clark, that's a real nice surprise. He's like, let me do something for you this year. He's like, oh, Eddie, I really wish you wouldn't do that. And like the whole time they're talking and walking, he's throwing all this dog food in the car. It starts out with like a normal sized bag. Then it's like a slightly bigger bag. He's got 2 of them. It's a bigger bag. He's got 3 of them. He takes his big ass thing of like the big bag and throws it on top. So it's like this stacks of dog food for Snots.
A lot of dog food.
Well, it's funny because it gets bigger
and bigger.
And like Clark doesn't say anything about it. It's one of them jokes. Like, it's not, here's a joke. It's just like they let it happen, and because you're sitting there going, "Is he really still putting dog food in that cart?" Like, it's something that you find for yourself and laugh with on your own time, while this also funny dialogue is happening, where he's talking about like we gave the last of our money that preacher was screwing a hockey player. He's like, "What about the kids?" He's talking about Ruby Sue and Rocky, and he's like, "Well, those kids can fend for themselves." Like, no, not those kids, your kids. Like, that's happening with this. So it's like 2 jokes happening at the same time.
It's like multiple jokes.
Which is great. And that's why I like this movie so much. There's so many layers of things happening. And it's not an in your face. Like, like the only thing that's really in your face is like the squirrel thing. That's maybe some of the physical gags.
A lot of the physical gags are definitely in your face.
But there's a lot of wit with like some visual things happening that are just happening. And you're just watching them happen.
Right.
Like a normal scene would play out. You know what I'm saying?
I like the physical gags are my favorite part, though. But I like
slapstick is always funny. To me, I always just find something getting hit with something.
2-year-old finds it funny. My Jax was laughing at him, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's funny.
And some people are like, oh, that's lowbrow humor. There's nothing wrong with laughing at lowbrow humor. There's a reason why it's called lowbrow. Everybody
I can raise my brow and still laugh.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, we loved Home Alone too, just because a guy gets hit with a brick 4 times. on paper, that's very simple to accomplish.
Hilarious,
but the performance takes it over.
It's seriously, if anybody else would have done that.
In the subsequent Home Alone films, they get hit with some shit, and it's like, their reactions aren't that great.
Yeah.
But like, we're not talking about Home Alone. That's a great movie. This is a great movie. All great movies.
Stay on my eyes and mind on task.
Then we cut to their Christmas party, and Aunt Bethany and Uncle Lewis come.
Do you know who Aunt Bethany is? The voice of Betty Boop.
I did not know that.
This is her last film before she died.
So Aunt Bethany, she's got like dementia, or
She's
she's
like hardcore.
So she's like, "Are we at the airport, Clark?" And he's like, "They're at his house."
Yeah.
He's ignoring her. She's like, "Don't throw me down, Clark." He's like, "I won't, Aunt Bethany." And she's like, "When did you move to Florida?" Like just
This is
saying
not
random
Florida.
shit. Is Rusty still in the Navy? And Rusty's
He's
like
like 13.
13. Ellen, are you still dating Clark? Like they're married, been married for years. Like it's one of those
It's
things.
funny. Like I liked her. She was.
And he's
funny.
like,
I like the prayer.
Uncle Lewis
Takes his hat off,
and his toupee comes out with the hat. Clark's trying to put it back on. He's like, "We got the perfect gift for you, Clark." And he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have got us anything." He's like, "Damn, Aunt Bethany, he guessed it." And he's like, "Oh, Aunt Bethany, you shouldn't have done that." And she's like, "Oh, geez, did I break wind?" And he's like, Jesus. Bethany. Did the room clear out? No, he's talking about presents. You shouldn't have brought presents.
So is Lewis and Bethany, they're married?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're Clark's great aunt and uncle. Okay. They're old.
Oh, very. You could tell.
Yeah, they're 80.
You could tell. They were old as dirt.
But he's still got his shit kind of together. She does not.
Hear with the damn.
Yeah, and he's like just cranky.
Yeah.
But she's gone.
She's on dementia, Alzheimer's.
And so they take the presents, and he's like, "Dad, this one's meowing." And he kind of listens, he's like, he's like, "She wrapped up her damn cat." He's like, "Take it in the kitchen and unwrap it." And
Russ
like,
is like,
a cat running around.
Russ is like, "Why did she wrap her cat?"
He's like, "Well, they don't have a lot of money, so they just take stuff around the house and they wrap it up and regift it." And he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see what I got." And then Eddie's like, "This one's leaking." And she like sticks her finger in it, and he leans over and sucks it off. He's like, "It's lime," but it's just funny that he just goes and gets like
grabs her finger, licks her finger up.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, it's lime." And he's like, "It must be your Jello mold. I'll go and wrap that now." Like Ellen's so calm about this, and Clark's just like actually reacting to it, like, "What the fuck is going on here?" But I love Aunt Bethany. She's one of my favorite characters. Like they take her like, "Why don't you go say hello to everybody?" She's like, "Hello, everybody!" Like, no, in the living room. "Hello, everybody! Hello, everybody! Hello, everybody! Hello, everybody!" Like,
it's funny. Like I like her humor of it.
And I didn't know she was Betty Boop. That makes it even better.
Yeah,
honestly. Then they all gather for dinner, and Clark's like, "I know it's been kind of rough here at the start, but like I can't. If this turkey is half as good as it looks, we're in for a real treat." And Eddie goes, "Save the neck for me, Clark." And he's like, "I will, Eddie." And he goes to cut it, and it like splits open, and it's I guess she put it in too early, so like
it was dry.
Like it's just the outer shell. There's no meat in there.
Like, hey, look, there's the heart.
Yeah, there's the heart. And so they're all like pouring gravy on it, like gnawing on it, like, and it's like the loudest, like clanging. No one's talking, and it's just like so awkward. And then Clark's like, "The hell is in this Jello mold?" And he looks down, and you can see cat food like in it, and he's like, "Bethany, did your cat eat Jello?" And she's like, "Huh?" And Eddie goes, "Well, I don't know about the cat, but I sure am liking it." And he starts eating more of it.
Must be some good cat food, dude. That's nasty.
Oh, and there's this funny scene too where they're like, "Bethany, why don't you lead us in grace since it's your 80th Christmas?" She's like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Grace." She's like, "Grace, she died 30 years ago." The blessing.
She says,
"I pledge allegiance to the flag." And Eddie stands up and puts his hand over his heart. They're all just like, kind of like, "What?" And they're like, kind of putting their hands over their hearts. Yeah, it's like a slow, like, all right.
That was probably one of my favorite parts. Alongside the squirrel in any part.
Yeah. Oh. And then the cat starts chewing on the light cord in the next room. And then you hear Snods under the table. He's going like, bleh. And he's like, "What's that noise?" Like, "Oh, it's Snods hacking up a bone." There he goes. He got it up.
You got it. We're good.
He's like, maybe if you didn't feed him off the table. He's like, nah, he probably just
Got it out the trash.
yeah, he just got it out of the trash. So then cuts to Clark and Ellen in the kitchen where there's trash everywhere. Which I have a dog who does that if you leave her home alone for 5 seconds.
My dog will do that, but only if it's like
5 seconds.
no.
If the trash can is open and you walk out that door, it's like straight hits trash can.
You get beat.
But like at my house right now, it's closed off. So if I'm gone for a while, she'll try to open up that cabinet, which sometimes she does. And she'll get the trash. But like we put it up when we go there today. Like at my apartment, it used to just be sitting, but and she would just run and just push it over if I walked out the door. So I'd go like to the neighbors for like 10 minutes. I'd come back in and she'd just run up and push it over and just sit there and wait for me to come back.
Demon dog.
So yeah, like, I know what it's like to come home and to see trash everywhere. Because it's usually on the day that you're about to take the trash out.
Yeah.
You're like, son of a bitch, I was just about to do this. So they're cleaning up trash, and the cat pulls the plugs on the out of the wall,
Well, he's chewing on the wire and takes the wire
and it pulls him
underneath the
out.
chair.
And so Clark comes in, he sees that the tree's not on. He's like, huh. He plugs the tree back in, and everything's fine. He takes the second cord, plugs it in, and he goes, "Ree!" You hear like a "Ree!" and you see a spark,
Sparks
and
fly.
all the lights are out. Like the tree lights up.
You see like it goes under it.
Yeah, you see it
and
kinda-
you see like flames almost
yeah,
burst
like a
out of
poof.
the chair. It's kind of fun. That's cool.
And he pulls the chair out. You can see an outline of a cat.
Cat and all the fur.
And they're dragging this burnt chair out. And Eddie's like,
He's
well,
like-
if he had 9 lives, he spent them all right now. Woo!
And he's like, if you don't mind, I'd like to fumigate this chair and try and.
Because he's just going through their trash, just
Yeah.
taking shit. Because I like to think he's regifting it.
He's
Just
that-
taking
just
in.
taking it for
He's that
himself.
guy.
that
He's like, well, I
bored.
can make something out of it.
Yeah. Another man's trash is one man's treasure.
And it definitely proves true here.
Definitely.
Then we go back inside, and they're all just sitting eating dessert. And Lewis is smoking a cigar by the tree. And you cut to like Clark in the kitchen. You see like a whoosh, like a flame just shoot out. And he's like, what the fuck was that? And he goes in the living room. The tree is, it's
gone.
literally just like 2 ornaments and just a burnt tree.
Gone.
And Lewis is sitting there smoking. He's like, what are you looking at? And he's like, Lewis, look what you did to my tree. And he turns around and Lewis is on
His butt's on
fire.
fire, his butt's on fire.
And he takes the curtain and throws him on the ground.
I was waiting for somebody to walk in and flip out because he's beating up Uncle Lewis.
So all this has happened. Clark he's upset, but he's like, okay, we'll be okay. Be okay.
He's calming down.
It's a knock at the door, and it's the mailman. He's like, hey, this slipped in between my seat. He's like, I got a package for Clark W. Grisman, which is the funny little thing. And he takes it, and he's like, oh, it's my bonus. All the shit that's happened today, it's fine. I got my bonus. Opens it up, and he tells him too, he's like, I'm going to have a pool put in it. There's enough left over. I'll fly out to commemorate it. And they're like, yay, woo, pool.
Happy.
And he opens it, and he's like, huh.
Frustration.
She's like, it's bigger than you expected? Smaller? It's a 1-year membership to the Jelly of the Month Club. Well, Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year. And he says the line, which is on my shirt. He's like, if anybody's looking for any last-minute gift ideas for me, I want my boss here. I want him with a big ribbon around his head. I want him right here, in my living room. He's like, I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no good, this is a long one, rotten, four-fleshing, low life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, heartless, hopeless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he really is. Hallelujah and holy shit. Where's the Tylenol? I love that line.
That's a mouthful line.
It's a lot. There's a lot of
I
stuff.
kind of am curious if he fucking mad with that.
That was just, if he's just going.
Yeah.
Well, John Hughes is known for
I
improv
know,
and shit.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
Chevy Chase comes from SNL,
SNL.
where he did a lot of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I can only imagine. But that's a mouthful.
Oh, that's a
So I'm
mouthful.
assuming he's
Lord.
just there's no one writes this line. I have to assume he's just going with it. So he delivers that line, and he goes and he grabs a chainsaw and he goes outside, and Russ is like, "Don't worry, Mom, I'll go talk to him." He's like, "Hey, Dad," and he revs up the chainsaw. He's like,
He's like,
"Good talk."
Good talk.
He walks away.
I like Russ. Russ cracks me up.
He's cutting down the tree, and the neighbors I've cleaned up their mess. And he's like, maybe we should have gotten a tree this year. And she's like, well, where are you going to find a tree this time of night? And the tree he cuts down comes through their window. And like, you can see him pulling it out the window, and the blinds are coming out of the window, and they're just staring.
Because they were literally just talking about getting a tree.
And it just comes through their window.
It's like, should we have gotten a tree?
Where
do we find one at this time of night?
Bam!
Smash.
Shh. It's so good, dude. And then, so he takes the tree, he cuts it down, and he's in his room with his wife, and she's like, do you think you went a little overboard with that? He's like, what? Psh, I'm fine. And he walks outside, and he goes to step down, and the little post at the top of the stairs is wobbly. He starts up the chainsaw, and he hacks it off. He's like, fixed it. Walks down the stairs. Then Aunt Bethany and everyone's all in the living room, and she's like, "Do you hear that noise? Sounds like a squeaking sound."
And everybody else is just kind of like,
Lewis is like, "You couldn't
she's
hear a dump
crazy."
truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant." And he's like, Clark's like, "Wait, I hear it too." And he looks in the tree, and he looks back in the tree, and there's a squirrel right here, and it jumps
flies
out. And everybody's running away, and his mom faints. And then everyone runs into the next room, and they look in, and it's just Aunt Bethany sitting there knitting, and Lewis asleep because they just don't care.
Yeah, well, Lewis is just sitting there smoking a cigar.
Asleep.
Chilling. He's not asleep.
He's going,
Not yet.
like he's dozing with the cigar in his mouth. So like there could have been another fire.
Oh, most definitely. That's how fires start. Dumbasses with cigarettes and cigars.
And he's like, "Where's Eddie? He usually eats these damn things."
He's not like, anymore.
He heard the squirrels were high in cholesterol. And he's like, "Oh, of course." He's like, "Russ," and he's like, "Yeah, Dad." He's like right next to him. He's like, "Oh," which I related to that joke because my mom does that all the time. Like she'll yell for me very loudly, and I'll be like a couple of feet away. She's like, "Oh, hey." So that's happened to me. My dad did the same shit.
Right.
Like, Ben. Yeah. Oh, hey. So he does that. He's like, "Go get my hammer." Like, what do you need a hammer for? He's like, "I'm gonna trap it in the coat, smack you with a hammer," and it causes the other mom to faint. So he goes in. His dad's like, "I'm going with you." They go inside, and he's like, "Do you see it?" And his mom sits up. She's like, "Where did it go?" Clark's like, "It must have ran away." And he turns around, and it's on his back. And his dad goes, "Squirrel!" And they all just take off running, and Clark's running with them, not knowing it's on his back. So he chases them. They're all running up the stairs, and then Snots bursts through the door, and he goes up the stairs. And then they're all running back down the stairs without
now the squirrel is who knows where.
Running from Snots. So they all run, and like they're running all to the house, knock everything. It's mess after mess.
Squirrels running around, Snots is right on him, just trashing the
yeah.
dining room and kitchen.
And then Clark looks in the kitchen. Squirrel comes out. He's like, "Yeah." And then the girl from next door, she's like, "I'm going to go tell that guy something. Like, I'm going to go punch him in the face." And she goes to knock on the door, and he opens up the door, and the squirrel jumps on her, and then Snots jumps on her, and he closes the door, and he goes, "Got it."
She goes back to home, and she is tore up. And Todd goes, "What happened to you?" She just
punches him in the face, and he like flips over the couch.
It was funny.
And everybody's done at this point. They just want to leave because Clark has had a nervous breakdown, and a squirrel has wrecked the house. Yeah. And he's like, "Where are you guys going?" He's like, We're not going anywhere. When Santa squeezes his fat ass down the chimney, he's going to see the jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house. There ain't going to be happier than when Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye. Which I told you is that White Christmas reference, which is his favorite movie. It's like referenced in this movie. Spoiler alert. Sorry. I didn't say spoiler alert to your credit. Then his dad comes up and talks to him. He's like, hey, this is a disaster. But it ain't happened like that. And he's like, Dad, how did you get through all of our family Christmases? He's like, I had help from my friend Jack Daniels. And he's like, but don't worry, son. He's like, it's all about being together. It's not about the crazy shit that you had to do to get them together. And he's like, you're right. And he's like, well, are you going to go read Night Before Christmas to the kids? He's like, no, it's your turn this year. You read the story too. So Clark goes downstairs to read them the story. What he does not know is that Eddie took what he said earlier to heart and went and kidnapped his boss and put a big ass bow around him.
Had him tied up, gagged, and everything.
Takes him into the house. He's like, "'Twas the night." He goes, and out came Eddie with the guy, the bow around his head. He walks in. He's like, "Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, Clark. Ready to do some kissing?" And basically the guy is like, "Oh, you guys are going to jail." And Clark tells them off, like, "How dare you take away our Christmas bonus? We expect
without
that.
even saying
You didn't
anything.
even tell us." And this goes off on him. He's like, "Well, on paper things seem pretty good, but when you see how they actually affect people, it's a different thing." He's like, "Whatever you got last year, add 20%. And they're like, "Yes, happy ending." And then his wife had called the SWAT team, and they come crashing,
barging in, up, down,
through windows.
They even go to the neighbors,
yeah.
Todd and Margot's house.
She goes, "If you want in here, you got to bust down the goddamn door." And they kick in the door and come in. And so, like, they're all frozen. Just the way Ellen was, she's got her hand over Clark's crotch, like just where she bent down, and like they're just sitting there staring. And she walks in and gets her husband. He's like, "You guys want to leave us? We can take care of business." Like, "There's no business. We're not pressing charges." She's like, "You were kidnapped." He's like, "Well, you remember when I talked about cutting those bonuses?" She's like, "Of all the cheap, no good, Mister. If I had a rubber hose, I'd beat you with it so hard." He's like, okay, I
changed my mind. Chill. I realized I was a jackass.
And he's like, "This is Clark Griswold, one of my employees." And she goes, "Nice to meet you." She puts her hand back on his crotch. She shakes her hand.
She doesn't take her eyes off the cops, though. She's like, "Nice to meet you."
It's just, that's just a nice little subtle thing. Because again, they don't
focus
in on it, but it's happening. So yeah, and then it's good because everybody's all good. And then outside, the girl's like, "Look, it's this big bright light." And he's like, "That's the light from the sewage plant." And he's like, "Sewage plant?" And he's throwing his lighter to his cigar. He's like, "Don't drop that." Explodes. Lewis flies in flame.
The rocket.
And it sends up the Santa Claus, which is shooting across the sky. And then you hear Bethany start bursting out in the Star-Spangled Banner. And they all sing with her.
Everybody just starts joining in.
And then at the end, she goes, "Play ball!" And then they all start singing Christmas carols. And then that's the end. They had a good family Christmas. There's thousands of dollars in damage to their home. But at the end of the day, it's okay. And that's what I like about Christmas Vacation. I mean, there's all this zany shit happening in the film. But it's, he wants, and we all know, like, yes, this is an exaggerated version, but getting the family together is a crazy mess.
It is. It can be a disaster.
But at the end of the day, it's
stressful.
And at the end of the day, it's about getting them together and being a family, even if it is just this time of the year.
Yeah.
That it happens, and that's what he gets. At the end of the day, that's what Clark gets. He gets what he wants and a little more. Mm-hmm. It's just the journey to get there was rough, and he never gets a good vacation. Because vacation was terrible on him, and European vacation and Vegas vacation. So he should just stop vacationing, which he kind of does in the newest Vacation. He does not vacation. So, but yeah, that's Christmas Vacation. That's my favorite Christmas movie of all time, man. There's just so many memorable. I watched this, and I know the jokes that are coming, but I still laugh.
This was, like I said, my first time watching it, and it's funny. It's a great movie, and I'm sure that I'll probably watch it more. And
With
learn it.
time, I think it's much appreciated.
Doesn't crack my top 10 yet.
But
I'll leave credit.
the subtle comedy, the physical comedy. Like there's 3 different kinds of comedy that are blended. So there's wit, there's physical comedy, and there's just visual
Just
comedy.
random things
Yes.
that you see that are like
Blended together, sometimes at the same time, working perfectly. Like this is a comedy, but also has like a good value, and also a Christmas movie. So it's like 3 different kinds of movies blending together. And to me, it's just like this is the kind of stuff I write as a writer too. It's like this mix of things, but keeping it wholehearted. Because Clark is a good person. He gets a little askew for a minute, but he's a good person. And he's trying to stay a good
It's
person.
very dim.
Yeah. He's a family man.
Dim.
He's all about the family.
He tries.
But he's
I'll
like
give him
that.
I'll give him
He's
credit.
that dad
He
character.
is,
You know
most
what I
definitely.
mean?
Most definitely that guy
Like,
that's just like
He just wants the family.
tries hard and fails.
Just the family. And like my dad was like, he wasn't as goofy, but he was the family oriented person. So I get it.
I never experienced that.
Where it's like you just try to get shit to go right for a little
Yeah.
bit. It never does. Like now that I'm a person who kind of does that shit, like, when I was married and stuff, there's all that family stuff. I wish I had the dad advice from him on like, how the fuck do I get through this? 'Cause it's rough. And but Christmas Vacation, my final thoughts is like what's to be said that I haven't already said.
It was funny. I liked it for the first time. It was good humor to it. Laughed. I didn't die a lot. I laughed probably the hardest at the squirrels. The squirrel
Yeah, squirrel, yeah.
and the neighbors. The neighbors were probably my favorite part too.
All right, so that was our review of Christmas Vacation. Tune in next time. We're going to do Ron Howard's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We're excited about that one. Oh yeah,
It's gonna be a good.
It's gonna be a fun part, and one where like we've both seen it a numerous amount of
Yeah.
times, so there's a lot to
one.
bounce on. Whereas like this was new to you, so it's
Completely.
hard to get a fully fledged opinion from you. Whereas me, I've seen this too many times probably.
There's
to where
if it's a movie you love, you can't see it. Too
I mean,
many
like just
times.
to the average viewer, I've probably seen this way too much. Like you're never gonna catch
No,
up to my
there's
level
no
of watching
such
this
thing.
movie.
Like I've probably seen Scott Pilgrim, Tombstone, and Boondock Saints like
That's true.
3,000.
But anyway,
It's a
thank you for
lot.
tuning into the Film Vomit Podcast. My name again is Mac Taylor.
And I'm DJ.
Have a good night.
And Merry Christmas.